Good morning, students. Welcome to our history lesson. I'm Mr. Njau from Anes the Victory Boys. In this lesson, we are going to discuss some questions which were in the KCSE last year, which were based from Form 1 work. So the concepts that we are reading today will be helpful to you as you will be doing your KCSE some 3 years from now. Question number 1 came from Form 1, topic 3, and the question was, give the meaning of the term Stone Age period. Stone Age period. You define the word Stone Age period. Stone Age period means Stone Age period means a period when man used stones to make tools. After the Stone Age period, we had the Metallic Age period. Metallic Age period. This is in Form 2. So Metallic Age period means a period when man used when man used metals to make tools. Another question was question number 2. It is in topic number 3 in Form 1, Development of Agriculture. Identify one method of irrigation used in ancient Egypt. Methods of irrigation in Egypt. Methods of irrigation. In Egypt. So these methods are canal method, we had basin method, we had shadoof method. Shadoof method. What about in Mesopotamia? The methods in ancient Mesopotamia were in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia is modern day Iraq. In Mesopotamia, we had basin method also. We had furrow method. We had shadoof method. We had basin, shadoof, furrow. The three were the main methods of irrigation in Mesopotamia. Question number 6. Question number 6 was, give the early form of writing in Mesopotamia. Writing in Mesopotamia. It was known as, this is in topic number 3 also, it was known as cuneiform. Cuneiform. What about in Egypt? In Egypt, it was known as hieroglyphics. Hieroglyphics. You should be in a position to know that these early systems of writing involved drawing of pictures. these pictures had some information in them. From there, we move to question number 18. Question number 18 was still in topic number 3, which we discussed before you went home. Question number 18A was State 5 effects of agriculture in Mesopotamia. State 5 effects of agriculture in Mesopotamia. State 5 effects of agriculture in Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia refers to a land between two rivers, that is Euphrates and the Tigris. I've already said it is modern day Iraq. So, the effects of agriculture. Effects of agriculture. Number one effect of agriculture is always increase in food production. Increase in food production. Because agriculture means the growing of crops and the keeping of animals. So, when there is an increase in food production, people are satisfied, therefore we have increase in human population. Increase in human population. Then, as people increase in population, they need adequate housing, and that leads to the rise of urbanization. The rise of urbanization, urban centers, towns. So, in Mesopotamia, we had some towns that grew as a result of introduction of agriculture. For example, towns such as Babylon. It is a renowned town. Babylon town grew as a result of agriculture. We had Ur town. We had Uruk town. These grew as a result of agriculture. Another effect was the introduction of government. Introduction of government. Due to the high population, people needed to be governed. People needed rules to ensure that life was smooth. That led to the introduction of government. Another one is the rise of religion. The rise of religion. The farmers in ancient Mesopotamia realized that there was a supernatural force that controlled planting, harvesting, and the rainy season. Therefore, religion came into existence. Another one was the invention of the wheel. Invention of the wheel. The wheel. The wheel was important because it allowed the farmers to do two things. Number one is to transport their produce to the market, and another importance was to transport farm implements, for example, manure, to the farms. So, these are the 5, these are even 6 effects of agriculture in Mesopotamia. So you earn yourself 5 marks. Number B is explain 5 solutions to food shortages in African countries. Explain solutions. Explain 5 solutions to food shortages. To food shortages in African countries. Solutions. So, what should the African countries do in order to fight lack of food? What should they do? Because almost all African countries suffer from food shortages. Number one, what they should do is construction of better storage. Construction of better storage facilities. Construction of better storage facilities, so as to ensure that food is kept safely. Number two is that they should grow drought-resistant crops. Drought-resistant crops. So that in times where there is no adequate rainfall, then the crops will still grow. Another one is that they should educate their citizens on family planning, such that a family should only get children whom they can be able to sustain. So that is family planning. Another solution to food shortages is land reclamation. Land reclamation. What do we mean by the term land reclamation? We mean that the wasteland, the swamps, the deserts should be converted to fertile lands which African farmers can use to grow their crops. Another one is the governments of these African countries should give adequate funds to the agriculture sector, so that the agriculture sector can be in a position to give loans to the farmers. They give loans, that is the loaning facilities to the farmers. The last solution should be these governments should enhance the transport sector so that farmers are in a position to transport their products to the markets and also to transport farm implements to their farms. So with that, these African countries will have fought the problems of food shortages. We can add the last one, that is introduction of scientific farming styles, such as artificial insemination in animals so as to produce quality animals. We have introduction of hybrid seeds, and also we have cloning in sheep. That is what we mean by introduction of scientific farming. So those were some of the questions in our last year's KCSE paper 2, which came from Form 1. So in Form 2, the following questions were tested. Question number 4 was from Form 2. Question number 4 was, identify the main trade item from West Africa during the Trans-Saharan trade. The main trade commodity, the main trade good from the West was gold. When we talk about the main, we mean that there were other trade goods, but this was the most important. What about from the north? What is from North Africa? From North Africa, we had salt and we had horses. These were the main trade items from North Africa during the Trans-Saharan trade. Question number 5 was also from Form 2. Topic number 2. State 2 characteristics of macadam roots. Macadam roots. These ones were made by John Macadam. John. That is why they are called macadam roots. So, characteristic number 1 of macadam roots is that they were all-weather roots. All-weather roots. So they could be used in the rainy season and in the sunny season. Another one is that they were cheap to construct. Cheap to construct. And not only to construct, but also to maintain. Another one, because they were all weather roads, then they were durable. So we say that macadam roads were durable. They were durable. Another one, they were smooth and straight. Smooth and straight. So these were the characteristics of the macadam roads. Another question in our last year's paper is state 2 disadvantages of using electricity as a source of energy. This is chapter 3. Electricity. What are the disadvantages of electricity? Was question 7. Electricity. How is it disadvantageous? Number 1, electricity is expensive. It is expensive. Number 2, electricity requires skilled personnel. Requires skilled personnel or manpower. Number 3, in cases of electrocution leads to death or deaths and property destruction. Death and property destruction. Question number 8 was also from Form 2 work Outline two functions of ancient Kilwa town. That is the topic on urbanization. Functions of Kilwa. It was an ancient town in Africa. Kilwa town. Kilwa town had the following functions. It was a religious town. A religious town for Muslims. For Muslims. Another function of Kilwa, it was an administrative town. Administrative town, that is for the Sultan. Another function of Kilwa, it was a trading town. Trading town, it was a marketplace. Trading town, that is gold trade. Gold trade. Gold trade. Another town in Africa by then was Meroe town. Meroe town in Sudan. Meroe town in Sudan. This town at one point in time collapsed due to two main factors. Number one is deforestation. Deforestation means continuous cutting down of trees without replacement. Number two, the town was attacked by the Aksum kingdom of Ethiopia. Another town by then was Gedi town, which collapsed due to lack of water. So these were the main towns in Africa by then, and these were the functions of Kilwa town: trading, administration, and religious town. Question number 9 was also from Form 2. Question number 9 was also from Form 2. The question reads, give one symbol of national unity among the Shona. Give one symbol of national unity among the Shona. Symbols of unity. So we had symbols of unity among 1, the Shona, 2, the Asante, and 3, the Baganda. So among the Shona, that is topic 6 in Form 2, among the Shona, we had religion as a symbol of unity. We had the royal fire as a symbol of unity, and the royal fire was never put off when the king was alive to show the continuity of the kingdom. And the third one was the king. The king himself was a symbol of unity. Among the Asante, we had two main symbols. Symbol number 1 was the golden stool. The golden stool that united the whole kingdom. In number 2, we had the black stool. So we had the golden stool and the black stool. Among the Baganda, we had the royal spears and the royal drums. So it means that in each and every kingdom in Africa, there was a certain symbol of unity. The last question is, it has part 1 and part 2. So part A of that question number 19, is disadvantages of barter trade. Disadvantages of barter trade. Disadvantages of barter trade. Barter trade. What is barter trade? Barter trade means exchanging goods for other goods. Disadvantage number 1 is that some goods are indivisible. So there are some goods which cannot be divided. For example, a goat. You cannot divide a goat. So you find that that is one of the disadvantages. Another disadvantage of barter trade is lack of double coincidence. Lack of double coincidence. Double coincidence. What does it mean? Double coincidence means a scenario, a rare scenario where you go to the market, you need a goat, for example, and you want to exchange it with a sack of maize. So you have a sack of maize and you are looking for someone who wants to exchange a goat for that sack of maize. It is practically impossible. So lack of double coincidence. Another disadvantage of barter trade is some goods are perishable. Some goods are perishable. Perishable means these goods don't last for a long period of time. For example, fruits and flowers. The last one we can say is some goods are bulky. Bulky goods. Bulky goods, and therefore they are not easily transported. Number B of that question, this was 3 marks. Number B, which is 12 marks. Discuss the factors for the decline. Factors for the decline of transatlantic trade. Transatlantic trade. Transatlantic trade. This was trade between Africa, America, and Europe across the Atlantic Ocean. So, at one point in history, this trade came to an end because of some reasons. Reason number 1 why this trade declined is the Industrial Revolution. The rise of the Industrial Revolution. This one we did in chapter 3. The rise of Industrial Revolution. So how did these affect this trade? This trade, the main trading item was slaves. And these slaves were expected to work on the farms. But during the Industrial Revolution, machines were invented. And these machines now replaced humans. And therefore, there was no need to look for slaves anymore. So this one led to the end of the transatlantic trade. Number 2, preference of machines over slaves. So those people who owned big estates started liking machines at the expense of slaves. They realized that machines were efficient, machines were good, machines were profitable compared to slaves. Number 3 is anti-slave trade crusades. So in Europe by then, there emerged 2 groups of people: economists and humanitarians. Humanitarians include missionaries. So they argued that slavery was ungodly. Secondly, we had the economists. For example, Adam Smith, who argued that machines work better. He also argued that a free man works better compared to a slave. So these also led to the end of the transatlantic trade. Another one is the signing of treaties. The signing of treaties. The signing of treaties. Britain signed treaties against slavery, and it also influenced other countries to sign such treaties to ensure that no man enslaved another man. Another factor is economic views. I had mentioned it earlier that some economists argued that free men worked better than slaves. Therefore, they discouraged the landlords from buying slaves because slaves were seen not to be profitable compared to machines and compared to free men. The last one is the French Revolution of 1789. The French Revolution. The French Revolution of 1789. It was led by a person known as Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte. So, this French Revolution of 1789 had one main agenda: that people should be treated equally, irrespective of their race, irrespective of their culture, irrespective of their background, irrespective of their religion. So, even the slaves who were in France by then were to be treated equally. And by treating them equally, it meant that no man was expected to enslave another. So, those were the questions in last year's paper that came from Form 2. So, I'll leave you an assignment of just one question. And the question is, explain the challenges. Explain the challenges facing industrialization in South Africa. Facing industrialization in South Africa. This is a 10 marks question. Explain the challenges facing industrialization in South Africa. With that, let's meet in our next lesson.